You want this as a single, continuous, highly cinematic American-style story script, right? Here we go. Strap in. I don't know what third-world flea market you dug these out of, but you are not bringing that trash into my neighborhood. This is a historic district, not a welfare-to-work project. Pack up your U-Haul and go back to whatever gutter you crawled out of. Yeah, that was the actual welcome my wife got the day our new furniture arrived. Picture this. I'm stuck in a mind-numbing quarterly review at work, the kind where a guy in a too-tight suit drones on about revenue projections, and the only thing keeping me awake is the sugar crash from the sad donuts in the break room. Suddenly, my phone lights up, text after text. My wife Maya is in all caps panic. You are not going to believe this. The neighbor is screaming at me in the driveway. Call me now. My stomach drops. I mumble something about a family emergency, grab my stuff, and hustle out. Dress shoes squeaking, heart pounding in my chest. Maya picks up on the first ring, and it's chaos. Some woman is shrieking. There's a truck engine in the background. Maya's voice is trembling with that mix of anger and disbelief that means things just got real. She's trying to tell me what's happening, but honestly, I can barely process it. We'd been in this neighborhood 3 months. Our so-called dream house, white picket fence, old trees, the kind of place you fight to get into. All we ever got from our next-door neighbor was a flicker behind her curtains. Never a wave, never a hello. We figured she was just private. Turns out she was more like a dragon, and our new dining room set was the thing that finally woke her up. Maya is not someone you want to underestimate. She's an architect, all grace and quiet power, can look at a falling-down shack and see a cathedral. That day, she's in her work blazer, ready to make our place finally feel like home, helping the delivery guys carry in this cherrywood dining set she picked out after weeks of research. Suddenly, this woman, let's call her Karen, because of course, explodes out of her house, pink blouse blinding in the sunlight, hair helmeted into submission, looking like she just stepped off the set of a retirement village commercial. And she lets loose. Pure venom. The 2 delivery kids freeze, halfway down the ramp, chairs awkward in their hands. Maya just stands there, stunned, clutching the receipt in her purse like a shield. This isn't your typical nosy neighbor. This is a declaration of war. Karen's out here saying you people don't belong, making it clear we're not part of her historic district. And when Maya tries to reason with her, calm, patient, explaining we live here, we bought this house, we pay taxes just like everyone else. Karen ramps up, calls us thieves, says we broke in, says the furniture is stolen. I mean, who even thinks like that? And then Karen pulls out her phone and calls 911, tells the operator there's a robbery in progress, throws in that we're armed, just to spice things up. Maya's pleading with her to stop, but Karen is already playing victim, already putting on her show for the police, waving her handkerchief, dabbing fake tears. I make it home in record time, nearly running red lights, gripping the wheel so hard my knuckles ache. The scene is surreal, patrol cars at crazy angles, flashing lights bouncing off the oak trees. Karen's holding court on her lawn with one cop, while the other is grilling Maya in our driveway, hand on his gun, like she's some career criminal. When I rush up, tie half off, still out of breath, the cop barks at me to stay back. Maya gives me this look, the one that says, "Don't make this worse." So I take a breath and try to keep it together. We explain it all. Deed, mortgage, the brand new receipt. But it's still her word against ours. And these cops, man, they're listening to her. She says the furniture belonged to the old owner, Mr. Henderson, that we're running some ring of antique thieves. The more ridiculous it gets, the more the officers seem to dig in. Finally, one cop, Sergeant Peters, lays it out. Karen claims there's a hidden H mark on the chairs, proof they're stolen. We're trapped. If we refuse to let her check, we look guilty. So we let her inspect the chair. The whole group, us, the cops, the delivery kids, staring at the bottom of a chair leg like it's the lost Arkansas. Of course, there's nothing there. Karen melts down, says we must have scrubbed it off. The sergeant's patience snaps and finally, he turns on her, tells her she wasted police resources, that false reports are a crime. For a second, I think this is it. She's going to get cuffed, justice is coming. But then she pulls out the waterworks, starts sobbing about her bad heart, says she was just trying to protect the neighborhood. Suddenly, the cop's all soft-voiced, tells her to go inside and not do it again. That's it. No arrest, No real apology. Just a sorry for the misunderstanding from the cops, and they're gone. Karen wins. And all the joy of our new house. Gone. Replaced by this ugly, crawling unease. The delivery guys are heroes, though. They stay, help us finish, even as the air is thick with Karen's stink. When they leave, Maya and I just stand there, silent, staring at the furniture. Neither of us can sit down. She finally whispers, "I want to move." And for the first time, I wonder if we made a mistake coming here. A few days pass, and the house feels like enemy territory. Then, one evening, I'm taking out the trash and our neighbor from across the street, Al, calls me over. Low voice, eyes flicking toward Karen's house. Don't mind her. She's always been like that. Worse since Mr. Henderson left. Henderson, our house's old owner, apparently vanished overnight, moving truck in the dead of night. Never even said goodbye. Karen was always over there helping him. Now, he's just gone, and she's meaner than ever. It eats at me. Maya and I start digging, trying to find Henderson. Public records, old news, nothing. Then I look into Karen. She's not some longtime pillar of the community. She only moved here 5 years ago, right after her own husband died. Digging deeper, I find an old newspaper piece from her last town. Turns out, Karen was a master woodworker, an antique restoration expert. Suddenly, her obsession with heirlooms and hidden marks isn't so random. So Maya and I go back to the furniture store. Turns out our chairs aren't antiques. They're new, but they're reproductions, based on designs by the very same Arthur Henderson, the guy who used to live in our house. The real chairs, the originals, are gone. One is on display in the store with a plaque, the rest sold. Karen recognized the design immediately. That wasn't just racism and classism. She was having a full-blown guilty breakdown. Now we've got a name, Arthur Henderson. That opens floodgates, old articles, photos, awards, even a dusty website listing his niece, Sarah, as his emergency contact. I call her, and she's floored, says she hasn't heard from her uncle in almost a year, that Karen told her he moved into a care facility and wanted no contact. We realize Karen isolated this man, lied to his family, and then, what? Sold off everything and tried to erase him? Sarah flies in the next day. We all go to the police. But this time, Maya's college friend is a detective, Detective Miller, all sharp eyes and zero patience for BS. We lay it all out. The gaslighting, the sudden move, Karen's 911 theatrics, the woodworking angle. Miller believes us. But there's a problem. No body, no crime scene, just a web of lies and a missing old man. Miller says, people like Karen can't stand losing control. Make her think her secret's about to come out. She'll panic. So, with Miller's help, we set the trap, an appraisal event for Henderson's chairs, a fake flyer, a loud phone call about bringing in our set for expert review, strategically overheard. That night, security cameras set, the police in a van down the street. We wait. Around 1 a.m., Karen, all in black, breaks into our house with a crowbar, caught on camera. She tears through the dining room, checking every chair for the hidden H she invented. When she realizes there's nothing there, she melts down. That's when the cops swoop in, full lights and sirens, catching her red-handed. At the station, Karen tries to claim she was chasing a burglar. It falls apart. Then, confronted by Miller and Sarah's presence, Karen finally cracks. Real tears this time, not the crocodile kind. She confesses everything. How she gaslit Henderson, isolated him, convinced him he was losing his mind, moved him to a terrible care facility under a false name, sold off his life, and thought she'd buried it all for good. Miller moves fast. They find Arthur Henderson, alive but drugged, confused, living in obscurity in a grim state institution. Sarah, Maya, and I make the drive. Arthur barely recognizes his own niece, but when he sees us, strangers who bought his chairs, he remembers. The news coverage, the chairs, our fight, those details anchor him. With love, truth, and a whole lot of patience, Sarah helps bring him back. Arthur recovers. He testifies. Karen is convicted, and her house goes into foreclosure. The neighborhood breathes again. And then, in a final twist, Sarah buys Karen's house, guts it, renovates it, and brings Arthur home, giving him a light-filled studio and a new lease on life. The neighborhood, once split by suspicion and fear, comes together to help. And suddenly, everything changes. Arthur becomes the heart of the street, teaching woodworking to kids, sharing stories, sitting on his porch in the evening sun. The two houses, once divided by Karen's hate, are now connected by history, kindness, and the odd miracle of a set of dining chairs. Arthur even gives us his originals, so long as we have him over for dinner every month. And you know what? Karen was right about one thing. This is a historic district. But now, the story isn't about who belongs and who doesn't. It's about how a couple of so-called outsiders, a missing craftsman, and a wild chain of events brought a community back to life. So, here's my question, because I'd love to hear your take. What would you have done if you were us? Was justice served? What does community even mean when one person can try so hard to destroy it? Drop your thoughts, your stories. Let's talk about what makes a neighborhood more than just a collection of houses. And if you've ever had to stand up to a bully, tell me how it went. Because sometimes, the only way to write a better history is to refuse to let the old one win.